Welcome to the Vantage Point. Peace and love, family. I'm your host, Azandi of Righteous Jewels, and you're tuned into your Conscious Podcast. I want to thank all the viewers and all the listeners who join us and support us. We want to thank you for being here and really just listening to the message that the Vantage Point brings. We ask that you share this podcast, you share this channel with your friends and your family members, and that you subscribe, you hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time we go live. If you are new to this channel, we here on the Vantage Point bring on speakers from all across the world, speakers from all different types of backgrounds that can help us in gaining the tools that we need to fight this everyday fight against racism, white supremacy. So today's conversation, and we've been away for a couple of weeks, and we wanted to come back and have this conversation. It's a topic that kind of touches my heart because I understand where we are as a melanated people. And when we look at the concept of God or the Most High, a lot of times it can be viewed in so many different ways. And for me, I see the extreme of the belief in God and what we believe God to be. And I see the other extreme where people just kind of have no belief and no faith, right? And so I really think in my heart of hearts that if we get a real good grip on what and who God is and how God or the Most High, as we say, plays a part in our lives, how that can truly liberate us as a people, how we can really move forward in power as a people, as a melanated group of people. And I understand that when the European came amongst us, the first thing that was attacked was our religion. So if our religion was attacked, that means our concept of God is a little off, right? So today we're going to be talking about how the Most High moves in, through, and around us. And this topic, honestly, I couldn't even think of anyone who would be any better to help us with this understanding than my Basesh, Reverend Dr. AJ Varma. And I know some people like, man, he's on a lot. And I'm so grateful for the time that he gives us here because, many times leaders comes amongst us, and amongst those people, there are people who really don't take advantage of the time that they have with the Marcus Garveys and the Amy Jacques Garveys and the Elijah Muhammads and the B.B. Francis Cresswellsons, all of these prophets and prophetess that has come amongst us, we don't take advantage of their presence. So I don't want to be one of those people. I want to take advantage of the presence of our Basesh while he is here and can help us with these conversations. So I want to welcome Basesh Haru Hoteptar, also known as Reverend Dr. AJ Varma, back onto the Vantage Point to have a conversation with us. Welcome.
Peace and blessing, my sister. Namastu. How are you?
Namastu. I'm doing well. So, as you know, this conversation is a ongoing conversation because we struggle with, really truly understanding the power of the Most High or the power of God. And I just want to kind of come from a realistic perspective of even what I was taught, from when how I was raised up until today. And of course, things have changed for me, but I want to speak for those people who can't speak or for those people watching that may have questions. So we do want to invite everyone to put your question in the chat so that when it's time for Basesh to take questions, we already have those questions for him ready to go because time obviously is very limited. So again, thank you for being here. Basesh, a lot of times, what I hear from family and from just online people that I speak to, we talk about how God is the ruler of all the worlds and how God extends his grace to us and how God is the best of planners and how, God is an on-time God. And so many different things that we say about God. And for me, if if there's no visible, like, physical perspective of God, I just want us to kind of get a real good grasp on what and who God is, because I hear pastors say God spoke to me. And so for me, I'm trying to envision how this takes place. So, and I'm really not trying to be funny, I promise. But it's just hard for me to kind of understand. So if you can help us today in understanding the origins of where this even comes from, right? These different sayings on God, and then we can go deeper into the topic.
First of all, I want to thank you, Sister Zandi, for having me on as always, and inviting me, and always being open to have us here. I think it was very important, being a member of the Holy Coptic Church, let me say that also, right? I think it was very important that anyone who's watching the Vantage Point this evening, when people use this term God, right? It was the Macedonians, the Greeks, the Hellenists that came up with a very unique idea. When Alexander the Greek, who was the person chosen by the Macedonians, his father Philip the Macedonian, when they chose him or selected him to be the person to go forth and conquer on behalf of Greece, the process that he used was called cultural diffusion. And what it meant was, instead of going in and trying to change someone's culture, you would go in, look at their culture, and then when you usurp power, political power, economic power, financial power, social power, and most importantly, religious power, from said groups of individuals, wherever you would encounter them, you would simply tell the native population, "Oh no, uh, Obatala. Oh yeah, that's God. That's the same God, Zeus. But Zeus, Obatala, Allah. No, it's all the same." And most people today will say, "Well, no. Well, how would that apply?" Well, that's the thing we all say. We'll all say God, Allah, Adonai, Jehovah, no matter the name, it's all talking about the same being. Ain't no reason for us to argue. And that was Alexander's plan. Eliminate the debate. It's all the same. However, there's a problem. The problem is when we say the term, let's say, the monotheistic religions, or let's say the Eastern, Near Eastern, or Far Eastern religions. Most of the religions that are dominating the world today come from two regions of the world. If I'm talking Judaism, Islam, Christianity, I'm coming from what they call the Middle East today. So you're looking at Palestine, Israel, Jerusalem, Jesus, Jerusalem, Muhammad, Arabia, Moses, Palestine, Israel, land of Canaan, that area that's being called the Middle East. So one specific type of thinking, culture, features, look, dress, food. If I say peace, shalom. If I say peace, salam, salam alaikum, shalom alaikum. That region kind of has the same origin religiously. Everybody says they come from Abraham. Abraham from Ur of Chaldees, Tigris, Euphrates, Near East. No problem. That's where that comes from. If I'm talking to someone that's Hindu, Hinduism gives birth to Zoroastrianism in a way, for the most part. Hinduism definitely gives birth to Buddhism because Buddha was born a Hindu prince. And then there's Confucianism. These four come from what's called the Far East. That's a region, Oriental people, China, Japan, Shinto, Taoism, Confucianism. Then you go over to India, Zoroastrianism, Persia, on up into Iran. Boom, that's a region. Wonderful region. Both groups that I've just mentioned, beautiful regions. But then the question has to be asked, where is the Africa in this? Black people, we will yell, we're proud. I'm a proud Black woman. I'm a proud Black man. I love who I am. I love my race. I love my Africa. I love my Caribbean. I'm a Caribbean, my Rasta, my this. We are all yelling this at each other. But when it comes to spirituality, where is our spiritual system? Right? Go ahead. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I said I would like to respectfully interrupt as you go along.
Okay,
Again, Basesh, I'm speaking for the viewers who can't speak. So I'm coming from the
no problem.
Christian perspective, the Muslim perspective, etc. Right. And I know that it would be said, you know, there is no discrimination, right? So when you say Africa and you're putting Africa into religion, there is no discrimination. Allah doesn't discriminate. God doesn't discriminate with
Now that
who.
would be great if there was no slave trade that had happened, right? I would be 100% with that. If we could go in a time machine and stop the Arab enslavement of African people, going back 1400 almost years, if we can go back another, 400 to 700 to 1,000 years and stop the Roman and the Greek and the Portuguese and the people from Netherlands, the Dutch, the Schengen nations, Russia, the Japanese slave trade of African people, the Chinese slave trade of African people, the Indian slave trade of African people, the European British slave trade of African people, Jim Crow, uh, apartheid, all of these things. I mean, when I'm talking to a black person, I'm like, do you know that these things happened and are still happening? Because this idea that there's a non-discriminatory God. I'm watching the news and I'm watching Palestine, Israel, and I'm not on the side of either one, right? Let me say that up front, because neither group really cares about
Right.
us. But I am still watching babies being slaughtered, and because a group who can say, well, they're the chosen people of God, and they got to protect their God, and the world is sitting by and letting this happen. All right, I'm watching the Saudi family in Saudi, the Saudian family or the royals brutalized the Yemenis, the black Yemenis that are in Yemen today, and they've been getting massacred now for about 7-8 years. So I'm watching black people be slaughtered all throughout history, while the God of the people who are slaughtering us, right? And I'm not talking about the Most High Heavenly One that we had before their invasion,
Right.
but the God or the Allah or the Adonai or the Jehovah, as we are claiming it today. When I look at if I'm talking to a Muslim and I look at the Quran, I say, where is the black person who got a chance to translate the Quran, right? We got the Iranians got their translation with the Ayatollah. We got the Muqtada al-Sadr in Sadr City in Iraq with their translation. We got Maulana Muhammad Ali, which is Pakistani. His translation spoken from the Urdu. We have the Saud. All these people, but where's the African? Do we get a chance to put our translation, right, to make sure it fits our narrative? If I'm talking to a Christian, we got New International Version of the Bible that's done by the people out of Tennessee, the Moral Majority, Christian Moral Majority. We got Zondervan publication that's done by the New Elite Christians. We got the Catholic New American Bible done by the Roman Catholic Church, based out of the United States, the conclaves of cardinals in the U.S. We got the Latin version done out by the Pope and them. We got the Russian version done by the Russian Orthodox Church. We got the Greek Orthodox or the Greek version done by the Greek Orthodox Church. Everybody got their version of the Bible. Everybody got their version of the Quran. But no black man that I know of has ever been allowed to translate and approved and appreciated and respected. I know of one named Sheikh Isa. He translated Bible, Torah, Injil, and they demonized him. He's the this, he's the that, he's the other thing. But every other group of people is allowed not just to put forth a translation, but in their translation, it falls in line with their narrative. So this idea that black people, and again, for the black people who say, "Oh no, that's racist," okay, I'm not talking to you because you're obviously living in because they to me, I say that person must be living in a bubble.
Right.
But don't claim Black Lives Matter. But then when the things that would make Black Lives Matter, like our own spiritual system based off of our translation of our scriptures, our own dress code based off of what we deem righteous, our own language based off of what we deem necessary, our own food, our own culture, our own homeland, the same way the Jews, the Romans, and everyone else has their own. When we say it's time that we have our own everything, then all of a sudden it don't matter, but Black Lives Matter. Well, I would always say to a person, if Black Lives Matter, please tell me, what about Black lives that
Which part?
matters? Which
Right.
part? other than just I'm alive, right? Because
Mhm.
there's roaches and rats and all kind of insects. They're alive too. But what
Mhm.
makes Black people's lives matter? When a Chinese man, what is it that makes us have to respect a Chinese man or Chinese woman or Japanese man or Japanese woman or East Indian Asian man or woman? What makes their life matter to the world? Because they
Mhm.
have a voice in the world.
Mhm.
When they speak from their perspective, in their language, with their cultural identification, with their music, with their husband, would they marry that which looks like them, and thus they don't have to keep feeling that their life doesn't matter, because for
Mhm.
them, just from the start. But when anytime you talk to a Black person and say, we need culture, we need our own, oh, no, that's not important. Then when somebody goes and shoots one of us,
Yeah.
police, or chokes out
Mhm.
one of us, man, we got to march. What are you marching for? I'm just
Mhm.
asking. Are you just marching because you marching, or are you
Yeah.
marching? What's the agenda? What's the end of it? If they said, all right, all right, all right, Black Lives Matter, what do y'all want? We don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
We want
Okay.
we want we want equality. Equality as far as what? Because
Mhm.
the equal means doing what everyone else has had to do. When
Right.
do we have to do that? That's the question. So,
That's true. Okay, so I want to go back for a second, if you don't mind. And
mhm.
also, again, I'm going to reiterate this because I see people, joining us, and also see this popping up in some of my chats. What I know, people may have opposition. So again,
No,
right?
but no, it's no
Because
opposition. Only, and I mean no disrespect, but
yes, yes,
it's gonna come
always.
off that way. Only a fool argues when the truth is thrown at them.
That's so true. So
If you're not a
yes.
fool, you're supposed to pause, right? The same people that may disagree when they hear Malcolm X speak and go, "That's right, Malcolm." Well, Malcolm was saying exactly what I'm saying. The same people disagreeing when they heard Elijah Muhammad or Martin Luther King or Marcus Garvey or Bob Marley will listen to a Bob Marley song and be like, "Yeah, man, Bob Marley knew what he was talking." Well, I'm saying the exact same thing. It may not be comfortable, it
Mhm.
may not fit the narrative of I don't have to get involved and live in my own liberation. It feels good if I'm rolling one up, getting a little puffy puff, a little smoky smoke, and talking deep with the fellas on the corner and inside the house on the internet.
Mhm.
We all in our chat rooms and everybody got an opinion. That's
Right.
wonderful. But I'm talking to the grown-ups in the room now. People who are actually movers and shakers and actually involved in trying to change the condition of the planet on which we live as it
Mhm.
pertains to Black people. That's the
Mhm.
people I want to talk about. The
Yes.
the the the, the WhatsApp warriors and the Facebook warriors. I love them, but I don't really have. That's not. This is not
Right.
their
And then that's what
conversation.
I'm saying. Right,
And
exactly. And this is for people who can, you say, embrace it in this way. So
yeah, the grown-ups. See,
right. And
grown-ups
then
love grown
and then
grown-ups can
it's like you
handle
don't
a
have
grown
to agree, but
conversation.
you'll look into it, right? You'll,
No,
you
there's
know,
nothing into. Everything I just said is common knowledge. If
that's
you are over age 18 and what I just said you got to go look into, you need to look into yourself and figure out where have I been?
no, no,
Have I
no.
been under
See,
a
it will
rock,
be
hiding behind
considered
a wall?
it, it will be considered mushrik, or it will be considered, what the Christians call it. Because it's this
Blasphemy. Yes.
blasphemy. There we go.
No,
And
but
let me tell you why, Basesh,
you
because
mean the murders of African people? That wasn't blasphemy. What I'm saying, that's the blasphemy.
but
The
let me
rape,
tell you why
cutting
that's
babies out of
blasphemy.
women's. No, wait. I'm gonna push back. Cutting babies out of women's bellies. That's not blasphemy.
Okay.
Killing George Floyd. That's not blasphemy. Miseducating people in America when First Lady Michelle Obama was the first lady, she was fighting, and it's still there where the schools are underfunded. That's not I'm the blasphemer. All the stuff that being done to us, that's God's way. God's an on-time God. He's just testing you. He works in mysterious. Well, when are he gonna do the mysterious way to some people that don't have melanin? Why they don't get the mysterious way? Why
Because
do
their
they have
day
a
is
right
gonna
to
come.
self-determination? I know, but that's the song Sam, what's his name? Sam Cooke. The long time coming and a change. It's a beautiful song, but it ain't changed nothing. Again, I'm talking to the grown-ups in the room. And
Mm,
I'm saying to the grown-ups, before you get mad at what I'm saying, I did not say there's no most high heavenly one.
that's right.
I'm saying the thing, the person, the being, the creator that they've been telling us about is one-sided. Because when it comes to the Sauds and they got problems, they're allowed to handle their situation because they're seen as the righteous, holy family, Beit Haram, the keepers of the Kaaba. Bunch of heathens, bunch of pornography lover, prostitute picker uppers. This is Google that.
Just
That's there,
our
right? But
research.
when it comes to them, they can get away with that, and they're being protected by that narrative that they're promoting of them being the chosen. When it comes to the Pope,
Yes.
they are raping little boys, little girls, nuns, each other. All that crap's going on. And hey, dear God, looking out for them. You say anything against the Catholic Church. The Jews, they are bombing the hell out of the Israelis, bombing the Lebanese, hitting the Syrians, assassinating people in Iran, as they have the ability to do. But when it comes to that, where's Yahweh? Where's Adonai? Why is he allowing that? Everybody's day is going to come. But when a black person stands, why this can't be my day? Why this can't be the first day for everybody in this room to stand up and say we're going to push back against what's happening to us? Why when we stand up, and I'm not talking about guns and bullets and rocks. I'm
Right.
talking about guns and bullets and rocks, using the brain. Why when it comes to us using the brain, all of a sudden, no, he's not on time. I hate these damn stupid backwards sayings. It's an on-time God. On time for who? I didn't say there's
Right.
no most high. I'm saying this thing that they have us worshiping is
It's
to our detriment. We'll never be able to get back to the most high heavenly one if we keep falling for the okie doke. You can't keep worshiping the magician's God while the magician is bewildering you and I. That's again, it may rub people wrong, but I am not a masseuse. I didn't come on tonight to rub nobody's back or their feet. I'm going to challenge that notion. Because
okay.
I'm 51 years old. I've been alive over half a century. I've grown up in the United States, lived there my whole life, played by the rules, military, this, that, and the other thing. And in everything, you're a nigger. You're a this. You're a that. And we keep saying, oh, don't worry, we just got to hold on and keep on keeping on.
Keep
And
on
we
keeping
just
on.
got to, until it happens to you. So I'm saying to people, to the grown-ups in the room, to the grown-ups in the room, people
Okay.
that wear the big panties, right? The big underwear, the big drawers. Real talk, right? Because no pastor's going to
That's
come
true.
at you like this, but I'm going to come this way. I'm saying to the adults in the room, can we have an adult conversation? To the teenagers, y'all gonna have a teenager. I don't mean teenager in age, I mean teenager in maturity. If you're
Right.
immature and you just want to play the middle and kumbaya, I'm okay with that. Love you. I'll talk to you later. But you know how Thanksgiving you make the certain people sit at the little people's table, right? So y'all need to go sit at the little people's table. I want to talk to the liberated minds, the liberated women and men that are going to see your recording on the Vantage Point, on YouTube, on Facebook, or social media. I'd like to have a conversation with them about what we can do right now. For the people who want to pray, please pray for me. People always tell me, I'm going to pray for you, and I take all the prayers. But while you're praying, we got work to do.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. So we're going to get back. I just have one more question, then we're going to get back into the Most High Heavenly One and neighbor. Now, to what you said, my question is this, Basesh, and it will be asked, isn't there people amongst the Christians or people amongst the Muslims who go astray? And so you can't condemn the religion or the religious belief or the belief in Allah or the belief in God or belief. You can't put that on everybody. These are a group of people in that just happens to be what they are, right?
Happen to be the hierarchy.
And so how can you
No. Did you hear what I just said? These are groups of people that happen to be the hierarchy. Happen to be the people that's supposed to be nearest to God. Happen to be the people that are teaching us. T.D. Jakes is not the bottom of it. He the top. Eddie Long wasn't the bottom of it. He the top. Swaggart wasn't the bottom of it. The Pope wasn't the bottom of it. The Saudis aren't the bottom. So why are the people who God put in power, pray for your leaders according to the Bible, Book of Romans. Why are the people who the concept of God that they're giving us put in power, why are they the most wickedest, depraved, the base people? Why would God put these? I gotta ask it because it's happening to me. It's happening. If it wasn't happening to me, I'm good. You understand? But it's happening to me. So I'm asking, wouldn't it make sense God put the righteous people in charge? But God keep looking out for the Souths?
Mm-hmm.
And there's Muslims that are around the world starving, and these guys got billions of dollars and buying $1 billion yachts and airplane and living it up. Is that's supposed to be the money for the people? The
Mm-hmm.
Pope, the Vatican, billions of dollars while babies are starving in that are Catholic. The regular the prosperity gospel preachers that are making millions and millions of dollars, their congregation can't.
Mm-hmm.
And if I ask it, there's pushback. Again, I want to talk to the adults. Again, the teenagers. I'm like, I got teenagers too. I got kids that's 15 and 19. I love them, but when they start, I'm like, look, here's some money, go play. You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
having grown folks conversation. This is a grown folks conversation.
Okay. So then my question is this, Basesh, because when you have your eyes wide open, right? People would call awaken. I know you often say you don't see things the way most people see it, or you don't see things the way we see it as you help to guide us. So, how do you see the Most High?
Well, first of all, when we say we don't see things the way people see it, meaning I don't look at the world from a fairy tale perspective.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
My mom was a doctor or is a doctor, and she never said, I'm gonna do babies come from birds and bees, right? She was very explicit in how she explained where babies came from. She didn't teach me. She taught me that we were the original seed. She taught me that we were the original Muslims. She would say, your father is my dingo. Those are the real Muslims. The Sauds are devils. And I'm from the Bassa people, and we're Hebrews. We're the original Hebrews, the so-called Jews in Israel. The white man is the devil. So she taught me that as an African woman, as a black woman, right?
Right.
So she didn't give me a fairy tale. She
Right.
didn't read me fairy tales. She just didn't. She was like, I'm gonna,
Mm-hmm.
that's all BS. My mom was very, very,
Straight
very
to it.
straight. Yeah, she no chaser, very straight. And she took me to Schomburg Library in New York City growing up on the weekends. She took me to the Museum of Natural History because at the time she was a cashier in their cafeteria. And I spent
Mm-hmm.
my days in the museum, my days in the libraries, my days, I played sports as well growing up, but my days doing academics and reading. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't see the world with rose glasses. I'm not a pessimist. I'm not an optimist. I'm a realist.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say to people, forget what you feel. What do you see?
Right.
Forget the fact that you feel like we should stop talking about it. That's what you feel. I get it, right? I feel like having a Haagen-Dazs right now. But my reality is there's no Haagen-Dazs here, right? That's my reality. So when we're looking at the Most High Heavenly One, we have to go and have a conversation with the indigenous people of the planet. Because at one time, there were no Oriental people. There were no European. There was no one on Earth that lacked melanin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not me saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Archaeologists,
They
white
say it.
archaeologists said
That's
all life
brilliant.
began in equatorial sub-Saharan Africa.
Right.
All life began there at the equator. Those people, whether they call it the bones of Lucy, which religion will deny those bones, oh, that's restricted. These are real bones, the real people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You deny that. So the bones of Lucy, the bones of Arthropithecine and Kenyan Pithecine, and all of these bones, we're going to deny that. Okay, fine. But life began in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest Islamic records on the planet to date are the Malian manuscripts.
Mm-hmm.
And in those manuscripts, African people, West Side, in those manuscripts, they made it clear on their understanding and their concept of Allah.
Mm-hmm.
And they said Allah is in, through, and around you. When the Sauds were just riding around on camels and didn't know left side from right side, the people of Timbuktu were the world's only university. The
Mm-hmm.
people of Aksum, Ethiopia was the world's only, I'm saying Africa only.
Yes.
Africa, there were no universities in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
There were no Shenzhen University didn't China didn't have a university.
Mm-hmm.
Japan didn't have a university.
Mm-hmm.
Saudi didn't have a university. Europe didn't have any universities. At one time, the only centers from which you could learn about the universe, science, God, Allah, whatever the religion, whatever the spirituality, you had to go to Africa. You had to go
Mm-hmm.
to Niger Delta and then travel some to the Nile River Valley. Traveled some to Hippo up in Tunisia. Traveled some, you understand? We had to move on to Libya. We had to travel around. That's where everybody, Herodotus of the Greeks, Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, Hermes, Trismegistus, all of them was hanging out in Africa. And yet I'm talking to black people that don't want to talk about Africa.
I don't
So
want to.
most high, what is the most high? The most high heavenly one. Right? Muslims will say Allahu Akbar. The most high, or God is the Akbir, Kabir, the biggest, the greatest, the largest, Kabir, right? Who Kabir minhu. Christians will say God, the most high, the big G. The Hebrews and they talk about Shema Israel, right? El Elyon, Yahuwah El Elo, right? El Elo, right? The highest. They'll say Here, Aisha, here. This is what they'll translate it.
Right.
This idea, but Psalm says what? All of you are divine beings and children of El in Hebrew, of the Most High, the highest. In African theology and cosmology, the original Christians who came out of what they call Laibeli, that Christian church built into the ground, the original Muslims that come from Timbuktu, Mansa Musa's people, Songhai, Malinki, the original Hebrews of Uganda, the Lemba. The Lemba don't believe that Hashem, the divine name, is out there. They believe that Creator's in you.
It's in you.
If you're Christian, Christ said, I'm in the Father's in me, I'm in you, and you're in me. Muslims say, they give it, did we not create? You in the Quran, you advocate, we in the original Quran, when you read it in the language, it is advocated that we, who's the we? Who is the we? Did we not create you in 7 days? And rested 6 days and rested on the Sabbath, right? On the seventh day. Who's speaking? Genesis 1:26. Let us. Who's speaking? So the Most High Heavenly One. They have many Muslims know this. If there's any Muslims listening, Ayatul Kursi.
Yeah.
Right. And it speaks about that Allah, la sunnatu anom, does not sleep nor slumber. Anything that's not sleeping or slumbering has to be a verb. Has to be moving in action. Christians say God is always watching. But all you ever watch, you never sleep, you never slumber, that has to be a verb. We advocate that the Most High Heavenly One, from African theology, I want to talk to the Arabs. I'm sorry. Just don't have the energy to people that see me still as Zinji, which is the Arabic way of saying nigga. Don't believe me. Zinji in Oman, in Qatar, in Jordan. I've traveled enough to know what they do.
I was just going to say the traveling part. You miss it if you don't travel.
If you don't travel. And they treat you like less than. They treat you. There's still people that are enslaved in Saudi today. Today. In Yemen, in Qatar, in Oman. Today. Black people enslaved. Today. I ain't hear about it. It's there. Go on your YouTube. Arab enslavement. Still happening. So when we speak about the Most High, we are telling people the Most High Heavenly One. Now, what did we refer to this as? An-nay. And I go to the Muslims. Is there an attribute an-nay? They'll say yes. I go to the Hebrews. Is there an attribute an-nay? No. I am. How do you say I am in Hebrew? Anu. How do you say I am in Arabic? Ana. How do you say I am in Sumerian? Ani. How do you say I am in Akkadian? Anuki. So this ana, this ani, this ane, this is a phrase that has existed in all of these religions that everyone acknowledges. The scholars acknowledge it exists. This I am is the portion of divinity within each individual. I didn't say we the sustainer of the boundless universes. I'd be a fool. I'm saying you have the I am in you, the I am principle, the ana, the ani, the anuki, the anere. That principle moves in you, through nature and all things that surround you and around you and other human beings. When we access that I am principle, it gives us, as the great Bibi, Dr. Marimba Annie, declares in her book, Yorugu, it gives you the ability to declare I am. Black people are the only group of people not allowed to declare I am, unless it's debauchery. Sexy Red can say I am, and we're gonna cheer that on. Lotta can say I am. Glorilla can say I am. Puffy can say I am. Money ain't a thing. As long as we saying it in that context. But if you stand up and you, like LeBron, when he stood up to speak against the Gen 6 or against George Floyd, shut up and just dribble.
Yep.
When Muhammad Ali stood up 50, 60 years ago, shut up and just box. When Jackie Robinson stood, shut up and just play baseball. When Boston Celtics, Bill Russell, when he stood up, shut up and just shoot the ball. Anytime a black man or black woman stands up to declare the right to self-autonomy, self-definition, to define yourself, and self-determination to determine your course of your survival, they're told to shut up and they're not allowed to speak. So the beauty about this program, the Vantage Point, is, and it allows us to speak. And I always say to people now, anyone who doesn't like what you say on the Vantage Point, turn the channel. If I don't like what's on Netflix, if I don't like what's on Netflix, I go to Hulu. If I don't like what's on Hulu, I go to YouTube. If I don't like what's on YouTube, I go to Amazon. If I don't like Amazon, I go to Disney Plus. If I don't like, you know what I'm saying? I change the who watches a show and gets mad at the show. That's crazy. You go to the movie theater, if you don't like the movie 20 minutes in, go ask for a refund. And I'm saying it because I'm saying it to say people are tuning in because they know what you're saying is true.
Yes.
They're just in awe that you have the guts. You're a female, so I can't say the cojones, right? But you have the guts, that you have the guts to speak the truth. That's what rubs people. Like, damn, you just gonna say it like that? Well, how else are you supposed to say the truth?
Truth is truth. It's only one way.
Truth is truth. It's only one way. So the Most High and Nere is the source that exists. We say Rabbil Alamin, sustainer of the boundless universe, but that sustainer sustains you, sustains everyone listening, sustains me, and gives us the right to self-determination.
Okay.
And I do, go ahead.
Right, because you want to finish that point?
No, let's go. Okay. I'm just starting to fight. I
yes, you're picking fights. And we're going to circle back around to that, right? But I want to be clear in something you said before I forget. Now, when we talk about Aksum and Timbuktu and all, and being the original Muslims and original Hebrews, etc. Now, my question to you is: Are you telling us at that time, they all had the same concept of the Most High, although one was the original Muslims, one was the original Christians, one was the original Hebrews? Are you saying they still all had the same concept of the Most High?
Yes, because they all understood they came from the same genetic origin. They didn't use the term Christian. They didn't use because there was no need. See, when there's only black people, we didn't. There was no niggas, right? Nobody got to be called the N-word. I'm saying it because I don't know if they're going to have to bleep it out, right? but when everybody looks like you, Africa was not a monolith. See, Africa doesn't require that every tribe believe everything the same way. Africa was intelligent enough in her glory to know that every tribe had a role to play. Some tribes were seamen, sea women, seafaring people. So they had to see the world from the vantage point of the ocean. Okay. To understand oceanography, fishing, traveling, water, they had to understand it. So those people, we grouped them under the element water. We had a phrase, Ta, Mu, Nefu, Set, Hu. Ta, earth, Mu, water, Nefu, wind, Set, fire, Hu. All of them manifested between you and I as male and female, who and he. Centripetal and centrifugal for those who took earth science. We as Africans understood this as the 5 primordial elements. The 4 elements, earth, wind, water, fire, and how those 4 elements manifest in you and me as the 5th point of creator. The Bible says the same thing. I've given you dominion over the fish of the sea, water, fowl of the air, and every creeping thing on earth. And the true light lighteth every human being, fire that comes into the world. And God breathed into man of the breath of life, and man became a nefesh chayim in Hebrew. In the Quran, they say that they breathed into you of nefesh. One says nefesh chayim. We said nefs in Arabic in the Quran, and it says Allah breathed nefakahu, nafakahu, right, or nafaka fiha, breathed into you life. So
Mm-hmm.
that life force, that divine breath, which has to process the earth, the wind, the water, the fire. I go to a doctor today, and I've said this many times. The doctor takes what? You got to breathe, processing the wind in your lungs, checks your blood pressure. That's the fire. Checks the movement of the blood in the body. That's the water. And then the earth. They weigh you on a scale, and then they sit
Mm-hmm.
down and talk to you. What's going on inside of who and he? What's going
Mm-hmm.
on between this centripetal and centrifugal forces? What's
Mm-hmm.
going on between this masculine and feminine polarity, receptivity, and
Yes.
repellentiveness that each of us possess? We
Yes.
understood that. So
Mm-hmm.
this non-monolithic societies of the continent of Africa, of the
Mm-hmm.
continent of North and South America, where melanated people were there, as the
Mm-hmm.
Moorish Science Temple teaches, as the great Baba Ivan Van Sertima taught, and the people of the Caribbean, they understood that nature manifests these four primordial elements in you. The Quran says it, the New Testament says it.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus blew onto them of the Holy Spirit like a mighty rushing wind, and it lighted upon them like cloven tongues of fire. That's earth,
Mm-hmm.
wind, water, fire. He took the mud from the man, he spit on the spittle, made mud, and wiped it on the man's eye and said, "Go wash in the Jordan." All of these stories or scriptural events are confirming African
Mm-hmm.
theology, are
Mm-hmm.
confirming what the African people were teaching. It's just we as Black African, Black American, Black British, Nubian, Moors, we got to be bold enough to do the homework and
Mm-hmm.
then speak the truth
Mm-hmm.
and be unapologetic about the truth. We don't
Okay.
spend so much time living the lie. It's time we start speaking the truth and don't feel shame
Mm-hmm.
to speak the truth. You got all these great teachers from Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, Clara Muhammad, Winnie Mandela, all these great people who
Mm-hmm.
gave their life. They're behind us. They're
Yes.
the ones in the ancestral realm that's forcing Black people to wake the hell up because they
Wake
gave
up.
their life so we could be better. They didn't give
Yes.
their life so we can be Lotta or
Go
Sexy Red.
brother.
That's not what they were doing. So we got to do better.
Yes.
Most
So.
High is in, through, and around us, and we process these elements 99 attributes, 99 elements, 99 attributes of God in the Bible, 99
Mm-hmm.
attributes of Allah in the Quran, 99 elements on the periodic table, 99 Orisha when you go to Nigeria amongst the Yoruba,
Mm-hmm.
99 Naturu. This is our principle. This is who
Mm-hmm.
we are. And it's time we claim it.
Now, Basesh, I'm glad you
Mhm.
said that because that is part of the conversation today, talking about these 99 elements and 99 attributes of Allah, etc. Right? Because we're talking about the Most High moving in, through, and around us. But I wanted to take a pit stop real quick, right? Because if it's okay, let's put it like this: a lot of people will either take pieces of that and, well, the universe, the universe will tell you this and the universe will tell you that. And then you have religious people like, oh, they keep talking all this universe stuff, spiritual stuff, but God is alone, Allah is alone, da, da, da. You can't, it has no partners, you can't. So what is this? You wouldn't be if it wasn't for the Most High and that spirit that you're talking about being breathed into man, etc. So when we mention a universe and not the elements in us but outside of us that exist and the boundless universes, what importance does that have? Why? How is that put into context as being a part of the Most High Heavenly One and not taken?
Very simple.
Mm-hmm.
A few moments ago, you and I were talking, and
Yeah.
we have witnesses, right? So, and we mentioned that Ethiopia had a university in Aksum, Tunisia,
Mm-hmm.
right, had a university,
Mm-hmm.
Hippo. Funt, Libya had a university. Mandilan, Mali, Timbuktu had universities. Why did these people, the Aztecs had these great temples, pyramids, where people went to learn? Why did they have universities?
Mm.
What's the purpose of a university?
To teach
To
you,
teach.
right?
Okay. What okay, that's what happens there, but what's the purpose? What's the purpose of a school? Right? To teach. Okay. Other than that, because everybody's gonna keep saying to teach. But what's the purpose?
Well,
To ensure that there's a system.
okay, yes.
Universities and schools elementary schools, kindergarten, high schools, secondary schools, colleges, universities
System.
are designed to
Mm,
ensure that there's a system by which people will teach, behave, interact. It establishes order.
mm,
So, what was the order that these great melanated thinkers were trying to establish in the minds for everyone from the highest pharaoh, king, queen, ruler
mm,
to the person working with the goats and the sheep and the crops?
mm.
This system was called Ma'at,
Okay.
and it was wisdom, and it was attributed to a female, which is found in the Bible in the book of Proverbs: wisdom, her, wisdom, her, wisdom, her. So they had a system. If
Mm,
not, then people can pick and choose. See, when I go to the hospital to become a doctor, I can't pick and choose.
that's
All
right.
of the people that's saving lives and doing the things that help make society better, when you're programming a computer, you can't be like, I'm gonna not put no keyboard. It's not gonna have
Mm,
anything you can press because my computer don't need any keys. It doesn't work like that. All of them, whether it's a touch screen, gotta have an F7 key, gotta have a function keys, gotta have an F2, gotta have shift. That this is a standard.
mhm,
I can take this keyboard that's written in English, go to Saudi Arabia where it's written in Arabic, but I know that the Y is still going to be in this same place.
mhm,
The sound that makes Y is going to be on the same spot. The sound or the letter, the glyph in Chinese that gives the U sound is going to be, that's a universal standard.
mhm,
The
mhm,
problem with monotheistic religions or Far Eastern religions when they give it to African people is they don't give us the standard.
mhm,
If I'm a Muslim and I talk to a Pakistani and he teaches me Salat, he gonna go Allahu Akbar and put his hands over his navel. If I talk
mhm.
to a Saud, he's gonna go Allahu Akbar and put his hand over his heart seat. If I talk to a Sudanese, he's gonna go Allahu Akbar and put his hand. Oh, well, there was one Muhammad with a real. Please stand up and tell us how we're supposed to pray. But I got these three people teaching me, and I don't know which one is right. And I'm not saying it to be degrading or
Right,
disrespectful.
right.
I'm saying because it's a reality. If I talk to a Christian, the Catholics say the Pope is the vicar of God. Another group of Christians say that the Catholic Church is the devil, it's the beast. The
Mhm,
Catholic Church says that the other group of Christians, they are pagans and they're not a real church. The Mormons, they believe in hobgoblins and all kind of other stuff.
mhm,
No, I'm not being funny. It's in the Book of
mhm,
Mormon. You got to read about the goblins and the gulus and the this, that, and the other thing. And they said black people were cursed. That's in the Mormon Bible. I don't care if they want to change it today. I got the two of them. I keep them because I don't care what you change. Y'all said niggas was
Right.
cursed. You
Got
said
receipts.
that. Okay, I got receipts. So that's the reality. You
Mhm.
understand? The
Yes.
reality of what we're dealing with today
Mm,
in this hour, in this moment, is
mm,
universities, scholarship.
mm.
Dr. Joseph Ben Yochanan was a scholar. Dr. Henrik Clark was a scholar. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson was a scholar.
Yes.
Baba Dr. Neely Fuller is a scholar.
Mm,
Bibi Shahrazad Ali is a scholar at what she does.
mhm,
Dr.
mhm,
Clenora Hudson Weems, scholar. Dr. Renoka Rashidi, scholar. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, scholar.
mhm.
Black people today don't want to be scholars
They
no more.
want to be scholars.
We
Come on.
want to be we're YouTube scholars.
Mm.
Everybody, I got a YouTube page. Let me create one right now, me.com. Right? And you come on and you talk. But I'm not that guy. I am a scholar
Mhm.
because I was
That's a
trained to do
fact.
the homework. And
That's a
so when
fact.
we teach in the Holy Coptic Church, I'm not just a scholar, I'm making scholars.
Come on.
Anybody who studies with us knows that this man is difficult. I'm gonna
Mhm.
have you reading more than you ever read in your entire life. You're gonna be up at 3 in the morning, like,
So
what am
true.
I doing up looking at a book magazine? Why? Because
So true.
once we can get that knowledge in our head, then we won't be lied to no more.
Mm.
But as
Yeah.
long as we keep taking everybody, because we being lazy, we
Mhm.
great at rolling up the spliff. We are masters at the weed.
Rooms and
Masters at the mushrooms. We're
mhm.
masters at the debauchery. We can tell you how to girl and what to bed. We got all that science down pat. But can we take some of that and apply it to the things that might improve our standard of
Yes.
living and apply it to the things that might change our again? What I'm saying has been said by all of the greats. who all of us will claim when we trying to sound deep. When the white person's talking crazy to you at the job, then all of a sudden, these damn crackers. Well, the same person who
Yeah.
says you shouldn't have racism, and the same Muslims that say that will call a Canaanite a cracker under their breath.
That's the part I don't, and I never
Right?
understood it.
No, I
Right?
do. I do. It's called no, no. It's called misplaced anger.
Mm,
Melanated people, we know what's happened to us. We know something ain't right, but we're afraid.
mm,
This chattel slavery, this apartheid, this Jim Crow, this stop and search, this stop and frisk, it put fear in us. And fear is the most debilitating disease on the planet. The most. Especially when you're afraid of what you don't even know. We call fear of the unknown. We're afraid because everybody who's ever stood up, man, it ain't, you gotta be careful talking like that. They're gonna kill you. Mean George Floyd was talking like this? No, but they killed him. Tamir Rice was talking like this? No, but they killed him.
mm,
Ah, that's interesting. Martin Luther King was talking like this?
mm,
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. They killed him. So whether or not they're gonna kill you, or they ain't got nothing to do with what you're talking. It got to do with the fact that they don't like you
yeah.
because you are threatening their survival by your survival.
What's
You are
that?
threatening their survival by your survival, not because you did nothing.
Mm-hmm. But you're
You're
threat.
threatening your survival because they're dying off.
Mm-hmm.
They're having less than one child per couple. Do you know what that means when you have less than one child per couple?
That's a
That means you're
problem.
going extinct.
Yeah.
And black people don't seem to understand that. That's what President Trump, that's what he's speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we like, oh, Trump this, Trump that. He's telling his people, hey, we're dying
Mm-hmm.
off. That's what
Mm-hmm.
European nationalism, that's what in
Yep.
England over the last 3 weeks they've been protesting about. That's
Yep.
what's going on in Poland. That's what's going on in
They got a
Russia.
whole different
That's what's going
agenda.
on in Venezuela. That's what's
Mm-hmm.
going on in the Dominican Republic where they're abusing the Haitians. Black people, you have a power called reproduction, and it scares people. The Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans are now trying to pay black men to move to Korea
Mm-hmm.
because they are unable to impregnate their people. And I am not telling niggas to go do that. Don't fall for that. What I'm saying is people are dying off. There
Mm-hmm.
are species of human beings that are dying. I'm not Jane Elliott say, you can bring it up. It's on YouTube where Jane Elliott is saying white people dying off.
Mm-hmm.
She white. She
Yeah.
white,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who says she's black, but that's a different discussion. Right? She's white saying that they're dying off. So we're
Mm-hmm.
talking with Barbara Neely Fuller, what B.B. Francis, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson said back in 1972, that they're talking in their fear when she, as a clinical psychiatrist,
Mm-hmm.
PhD in medicine, did her thesis and research on white fear
Yeah.
based off of white genetic survival. And she wrote a book called The ISIS Paper.
Yes.
Before any person tries to debate with you, Sister Azandi Malinki, or myself, I would tell them go
Mm-hmm.
read that book. And
Yep.
then after you read it, go read a book called White Fragility by a white lady,
Mm. Mm.
where she says the same thing about 40 years later, 50 years
Mm.
later. Go
Okay.
read the book called Yorugu by the
Mm-hmm.
Bibi,
Marimba.
Dr. Marimba Annie.
Mm.
Go read the Counter Racist Code by Barbara Neely. Go read Africa for the Africans, or the philosophies or opinions of Marcus Garvey. And I'm
Mm.
saying that go read the Message to the Black Man. Most of the people is going to argue, if I ask them, did y'all read any of what I just been? No. That's why we had universities. So you
Mm.
would have an education. You couldn't stand to debate. The Barbara Henry Clark said, I only debate with my peers. All others I teach.
Mm-hmm.
But black
Mm-hmm.
people, we want to stand around the people who want to debate. I'm like, did you do the scholarship? Did you
Right.
read anything other than the sports page?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that important? Because then you won't be talking from that side of your body, you'll be talking from this side of your body.
Yes.
Because with everything I just said, why aren't Europeans debating against it? Why didn't
That
the
part.
Europeans debate Neely Fuller? Why don't Europeans debate Francis Cress Wilson? Why don't Europeans debate Marimba Annie? Why don't Europeans want to debate Baba Minister Louis Farrakhan? Why don't the white people, the Chinese people, the Arab people, why don't they debate the scholars amongst us?
Mm-hmm.
because they're smart enough to know what we're saying is
Yeah.
true. The
Yeah.
only people that doubt and
It's
want to
our people.
our people or the poor white trash who they're undereducated too.
Yes.
So that's why they want to argue.
Yes.
But
Yes.
the
Mhm.
intelligent people, they don't say nothing.
It was nothing.
When Jeremiah Wright was on TV talking, the
Mhm.
media was mad. Obama, his pastors are racist, but they didn't debate him.
Mhm.
They
That's a
didn't
fact.
say he said this and this is wrong. They only spoke to he made me feel bad.
Mhm.
It's always about feelings. The
Mhm.
people who's going to hear what we're having this discussion tonight, and only thing they're going to say is all
Feelings.
about feelings. They're not going to show you, even in their holy book. And I do read the Quran, I read the Bible, and I want to look at the Quran with African eyes because these were African, but Muhammad was an
Thank
African.
you. Yes.
Saudi Arabia at one time was a part of the Kushite Empire. Read
Mm.
about the people of Petra, Petra, in Saudi. These
Mm.
were African
Come
people.
on
There
about
was
that.
no Saudi Arabia before the early 1900s when they changed the country's name. It used
Mm.
to be called El Gord, and it was a part of the Kushite Arabia. It was a part of a Kushite empire.
Mm.
Ethiopia ruled that. That's not me. That's history.
That's
But the people
history.
who say I disagree, you disagreeing before you even try. Take your phone, go on
Come
Google.
on.
Google, was
Come on.
Saudi at one time under the Kushite Empire? Oh snap,
Mm.
he right. Yeah, but that don't mean nothing. See, a minute ago you said I was wrong. Now when you see it, now it
Now it
don't
don't
mean nothing.
matter.
That's why I don't talk to teenagers. Every
Okay.
person in this room that got young kids, 13, 12, they drive you crazy because they'll say something, then when you check them, then all of a sudden, it don't matter.
It don't matter.
I'm talking to the adults in the room.
Yeah. Two last things before we take a commercial break. When we come
That's
back
hard
from
enough.
commercial break,
We start trouble.
we start in trouble.
Good. That's the
It's
job.
good
That's what I
trouble,
want.
right?
I came in to start trouble, so I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm starting trouble. What I mean by that, I want to get people. I want to force you to go think.
What you think and wake
Don't
up.
come at me with your emotions. Don't tell me about your feelings. Don't tell me what you like. I didn't come here to be like. Tell
So
me what you know. Go ahead.
So I have one thing about what you said, and then I'm going to take one question from the chat. Then we'll take commercial. When we come back, we're going to be going more into the Most High Heavenly One. Things that we still got. Okay, what do you really mean by this? Where? How can you prove it? Show me. Tell me. Because I don't. We're going to get more into those type of questions. Now, when you said the fear, and I'm with you on the fear part, but some people really have true conviction about what they believe, and these are the same people that will speak up, and these are the same people that will speak up about Black people. However, they still have conviction about their faith, be it Islam, be it Christianity, whatever it is. So is it necessarily always fear? What would you call that? Or is that just being under?
No. It's conviction. Don't get me wrong. I
Mm-hmm.
think conviction is a great thing
Mm-hmm.
when you have conviction about something that's tangible for your reality.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I did not say there's no Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm just saying, can we go to Timbuktu? Can we go to Tuba in Senegal? Can we go ask the Africans what we had to say about it?
Okay.
Right?
Now
Because
that's good.
there's the biggest masjid in the world is in Tuba, in Senegal, built by Black people who were followers of a man called Sheikh Amadou Bamba. We have a history.
Yes.
But why is that history thrown away? You understand? Why is
Yeah.
that history? So I'm just saying, Black people, Christianity, let's go talk to the Ethiopians. Let's go to Liu Belly.
Mm-hmm.
At least let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
But why does everything got to go to people that don't look like me? Why they're mistreating me? That don't make
Right.
sense.
Right.
Even a dog knows that. Even a dog knows. You kick a dog every day, that dog gonna roll out. Take the chain off, open the gate, watch him disappear.
We going. Yes.
So
So this was the
the
last piece
conviction
of
is
what you were
awesome, but
saying.
they've got to have conviction in things. We're living in the information era. Having conviction in stuff that ain't real, that don't make sense. That's called a fairy tale.
Mm.
That's called a
Yeah.
fairy tale. That is fear. That is still fear.
Mm.
Because you say you follow Jesus, Jesus spoke truth to power. And the power that he was up against is the same power that we're dealing with today. The same misinformation called ignorance.
Mm.
I'm a person that, and I'll continue to say, our fight is with ignorance.
Yes.
I don't hate white people. I hate ignorance.
Mm.
And if ignorance is in white skin, black skin, I got to do something about the
Right.
ignorance.
Right.
Ignorance is the thing I'm against. I'm not against people. I'm against ignorance.
Ignorance.
Now,
Yes.
if you're a person who's acting ignorant, I'm going to ask you to remove yourself from my presence. Why? Because I don't want to be around ignorance.
Right. Yes.
You understand? They
Yes.
fear. People are afraid to go up against ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
If we can get rid of the ignorance that people have put into Islam and
Mm.
put into Hebraic doctrine and put into Christian doctrine, they'll find out that they're really at one with one another.
Okay.
But as long as we don't get rid of that ignorance, because no one wants to do the scholarship and say, "Oh, forget what you feel. What does it say?"
Yeah.
I'm reading the Quran. What does it say? What does
Don't
it
give it
say?
all away. We're gonna get to that part. We're gonna get to that
Okay.
part after the
All right,
break.
go ahead.
Don't give
So
it all
there's a
away.
question on the screen. What's that?
So is the African translation of the Bible and Quran different? I know the Ethiopian Bible is different. And then how so? As a matter of fact, don't answer that yet, Basesh. We're going to take a quick commercial break because that's going to lead us into the next part of the conversation about these translations and how we should truly interpret them and how we should interpret the Most High Heavenly One. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. It's just getting started. It's getting real juicy. Basesh is starting trouble on the internet today. Okay, so who knows what he's going to say next. Take cover. But it's all for truth, liberation, and fighting ignorance. So we'll be right back. You're tuned into The Vantage Point.
Right now, get conscious news every month. Stay up to date with the Cryptic Revealer. Every month, you can expect conscious perspectives, balanced advice, inspirational stories, together with provoking discussions on every topic. Read and enjoy a magazine that goes beyond and above the scenes. What you waiting for? Start your collection now. This full-color magazine for just $3 US. You can get it as a PDF to read on the go, or as a physical copy to read in the comfort of your homes. Stacking too high? Don't throw it. You can leave it at the train stations, barber salons, taxis, buses, cafes. Someone will need it. The Cryptic Revealer at www.journeyhomegroup.com.
What has happened to the Nubian Melaninite male? My brother, what are you doing? Look at you standing over there. How have you forgotten who you are? Come on, man. We're better than this. Killing each other, selling drugs in our neighborhood, listening to crazy music, allowing women, our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our wives, to go unprotected. When do we stand? Who will stand with me? Will we fix the world in which we find ourselves today? Can it be done? I say yes. What say you? Join the Holy Coptic Church of the Black Messiah, Journey Home Group International, today.
Is the Nubian male an endangered species? Order your book today at www.journeyhomegroup.com.
Welcome back to the Vantage Point. I'm your host, Azandi of Righteous Jules, and you're tuned into your Conscious Podcast. Thanks again, everyone who stayed tuned for the second half of tonight's episode. We're going to be bringing Basesh Haruhoteptar, also known as Reverend Dr. AJ Varma, back on the screen in just a moment. I just want to remind everybody to get your incense. I'm sitting here and I just ran on commercial to light my incense and it smells amazing, and it just really really sets the tone. So I hope everyone has ordered their incense. I will grab a couple to show you at the end if you're new tuning in, and give you all the website, but I just wanted to make sure I threw that out there because I'm enjoying it. Okay, so I want to bring back in Basesh Namastu. I would like, you're on mute as well, but I would like for us to take a look at this comment, and that will kind of lead us into the second half before we kind of dig deep into the Most High Heavenly One. You did mention the different, scriptures and where they came from, and the indigenous people who were the true Muslims and true Christians and true Hebrews. So some people, this is not the right comment, sorry. The question was, is the African translation different? If so, how? Then a lot of people are becoming aware that the Ethiopian Bible is different, but I don't think we truly have a full understanding of that.
Okay. When we, first of all, I think part of the issue is, again, this is the part where we have to do some homework. When we speak about the African translation of the Bible, when we speak about the African translation of the Quran, or African people who have translated the Bible or Quran, right? Timbuktu, Songhai, Libreville, etc. The Ethiopian Bible, when you say Ethiopian Bible, we got to be careful, right? There's the Coptic Church and there's the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. The moment we say Orthodox Church, you're under the Roman Orthodoxy. You understand? That means the Romans are influencing that translation to make sure it falls in line with the church's dogma or system of doing things. When you look at the Coptic Bible, the Coptics, they'll say they come from James, the brother of Christ, half brother, and that he wrote a Bible and came down. But when we go to the people, the Lemba, the Falasha, those other tribes or people, the Hendendawa, they say something entirely different. We can't take his Bible and simply translate it into our language. There's a difference between taking the Arabic and translating from Arabic for Quran. Is the difference in taking the Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew, not just the modern Hebrew, and translating the Bible. In the pictographs, if I can share, right? I want to share something, if you don't mind. Yes?
Yes,
No? Maybe
please
so?
do share.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
All right.
sorry. Yes.
Okay, Hebrew script, because I want people to how this Hebrew script has been changed over time.
Okay.
Right? A lot of people don't understand this, right? So I'm going to bring this up. This is from biblica.com, and this will help us to understand the answer that I'm going to give to share. Okay.
I'm going to take this off the screen.
All right. So if we wanted to share, okay, this is the Hebrew script. I'm trying to make it as large as I can. Let me know, please.
Okay, yes. Mm-hmm. If you can fit it.
Large.
I had to go back a little. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. All right. So this is everybody looking at it. So when we talk about the different translations of the Bible, the first thing we have to determine is the person merely taking an English Bible and translating it into their language, or just changing the words to fit whatever they're saying. That's not a translation. That's a transliteration. I'm taking what I see and trying to make it literal for the people that I'm talking to. Big difference. If you're taking the Quran, Muslims will say, I've been a Muslim 20 years. I'm like, okay, do you speak Arabic? No. All right, do you read Arabic? No. All right, so you've been a Hebrew for 20 years, don't read or speak Hebrew, but a Muslim for 20 years, don't read or speak Arabic. Christian, years and don't need to speak your life. You really haven't read your book, right? Because we've been reading it in someone's translation. And unless you are Shakespearean in your thinking when you read the King James Shakespeare, or unless you are Pakistani and you Maulana Muhammad Ali or Marmaduke Picktail, you're reading a Pakistani interpretation of the book based off of their education, based off of their exposure, based off of their feelings and their opinions and their understanding, which works for them, which should work for you and me, especially if the Quran chapter 9 verse 97 says that the Arabs are the biggest of hypocrites. That's what Allah said. I'll leave that to each person. Anyway, on the screen, we have where they'll tell you that the oldest, and this is not just biblical, all of them says biblical.california, which is Cal State University, and manuscripts. They'll say the oldest written form of these Hebraic modern letters here, what they call Masoretic Hebrew. This is Masoretic Hebrew, Canaanite influenced Hebrew. This is what most people, if I say Hebrew, think that is Hebrew.
Okay.
It's not. It's Masoretic Hebrew, which was borrowed from the Aramaic sounds and put in Masoretic script, and they're calling this Hebrew.
Okay.
Canaanite script. All right. Can you see the other screen that I just opened up?
No, we cannot.
You don't see that. Okay. Let me bring that up.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to bounce between the two. I'm bringing up various Arabic scripts. Okay.
Yes.
Various Arabic scripts around the world. So most black people who say we're Muslim, when we say Arabic, we're thinking of as if it's one script. Right? And I'm not talking about the cursive of it. I'm talking about the actual script. So look, if I'm going to bring that up.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Share the screen. And we're bringing it up. So again, before anyone wants to argue, these are different scripts. That's called the Nastaliq script. Some Qurans have this script. This script is coming from certain areas called Lahore, Pakistan. You have the Kufic script. This comes out of Kufa. There's a place called Kufa. Look it up. That's the Kufic script, the ancient script, right? Then you have the Taluthi script. You have the Dawani script. You have the Ruki script. You have the Nask script. These are scripts in Arabic that are based off of a people who had this script. Let me bring up the Persian. If I write what most people thinks is Arabic, if I type in Persian alphabet, and Persia is what you're calling today Iran. So the Iranians, who at the time were not Muslim, the Iranians, before they became an Islamic state, they were people who followed the religion of Zoroastrianism and dealt with Muslims. These Iranians who had a culture that predates European and Arab teachings today, these were Persians. They were the first group of people that had a caste system.
Can you repeat what you said, Hormazda? Your mic goes out a little bit.
Okay, I said these Iranians worshipped a god called Ahura Mazda. Okay. When most people think Arabic, what alphabet is this?
Persian.
What's it say? Persian alphabet. This is Persian. This is not Arabic. This is Persian. Again, I'm going to try this again for the people in the back of the bus. This is Persian. And if it's Persian, then it's the script of the Aryan people, the first group of people that started racism, that formed a caste system before they went into India and suppressed the original black people of the Indus River Valley, Harappan culture and civilization. This was Persian. I'm not saying this. The scholars know this in Saudi, in Jordan, in Oman. So they're telling you you're going to learn Arabic, and instead they're giving you Persian. If they were trying to do it the right way, they'd be giving us Kufic or some script that predates. This is Persian script. I ain't saying it. It's there. Do the homework.
Yes.
So we're looking at that. Let's go back to the Hebrew.
Okay.
the so-called modern Hebrew script of
Mm-hmm.
today. And this is when, and I'm saying this because we want to know about the African Bible. All right. So
Yes.
this is the modern Hebrew script. And it
Okay.
says these letters give these sounds: A, B, or V, right? Beth or Wev or Vet or Wow, which is a wow, a G, Gemal, Deleth, Chay, Het, Vo,
Mm.
Wo, Za, Chay, right? Tha. Arabic has the same alif, bat, ta, tha, jim, ha, kha, del, del, ra, sa, sin, sa, dot, etc. All right,
Mm-hmm.
but they'll say that this script really comes from what's called Mosaic hieroglyph. So they're saying when the Israelites were in Egypt, according to their story, the
Mm-hmm.
people of Mosaic, that's why it's called Mosaic, had a hieroglyphic Hebrew alphabet that is before this,
Mm.
called Paleo Hebrew.
Mm.
And it looked like this. And it was stolen from the Sinaitic Hebrew, the first Hebrew phonogram alphabet, which is bullhorn on its side, turned sideways, the horn's this way. This is the calf, it's turned sideways is this. This was the Gemal, it's turned sideways this. This was the original script in pictographic or phonographic. These symbols had a phonos, had a sound,
Okay.
enunciation.
Mm-hmm.
Then they tell us before 1118, before 1859 BC to 1100 BC, before this time period was this here, which was the original Hebrew. So
Mm.
when you look at hieroglyphs and call it pagan, the
Mm.
scholars go, don't tell the niggas. So they don't realize this ain't pagan. This is Hebrew.
This is Hebrew.
This
Mm.
is Hebrew. I'm gonna try this again for the people in the back of the bus that might get mad at me later. The scholars say this is the Egyptian hieroglyphs that gives birth to the Mosaic hieroglyphs, that gives birth to the Paleo Hebrew, that gives birth to the modern Hebrew.
Mm. Mm.
So if this is Mosaic, the Hebrew that when I'm stuttering for a reason, right? Because I want to make sure I get the Hebrew stutter. When Moses was writing Hebrew, did
Yeah.
he write this or did he write this? And
Mm.
so if I'm looking at this, I'm gonna say this again. You'll get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. It's all right. Right? But if I type in hieroglyphs
Mm-hmm.
on walls,
Hmm.
right, I'm gonna bring up the hieroglyphs on the walls. Bring
Okay.
it up. All right. So we're gonna get a nice picture. So they're gonna be mad, at least have a reason. It's gonna have a reason to be mad. All right. So we're looking at hieroglyphs. When
Yes.
I'm looking at what they're calling hieroglyphs, what's this really?
Mm. Hebrew.
Ancient Hebrew. Mhm. And so if I'm looking at ancient Hebrew on the walls of Africa, then
Mm.
what were these people?
Mm. African Hebrew.
The real Hebrews, the African
Real
Hebrews.
Hebrew.
And so what's on the walls is what's on the walls really the scripture? Oh, snap. Because the Latins called it hieroglyphs. What does hieroglyphs mean?
Mm.
Sacred glyphs. Huh.
Sacred gifts.
Why did these Romans and Greeks call this sacred glyphs?
Mm.
And yet me as a black man, I'm going to call it pagan. Let's look back at the Kufic. Again, I'm just talking to the adults in the room.
So, as you bring it up, pagan is a way of keeping you away from ancient history to make it not just pagan, but make it like idol worship or make it like, but really, this was the ancient Hebrews, ancient Africans.
That's
You
correct.
will never find your origin if you don't. Okay. I'm just making sure I understand. Okay.
Okay. Now, we're going to look up the old Arabic script, right? Which they call Kufic. And I'm talking to the real Muslims in the room. I ain't talking to you know, to the lollipop Muslims, to the people who ain't really about that life, right? I'm talking about the people. I was Muslim, born Muslim, right? So I'm talking to the people who understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Kufic script is an Arabic script that originated in the Iraqi city of Al Kufa
Mm.
between the 7th and 10th century. Y'all with me so far?
Yes.
The script is named after the city, which was a center of learning and scholarship in the early Islamic period. Kufic script is considered the oldest form of Arabic calligraphy, the oldest, and has
Mm.
been used for a variety of purposes, including writing the Quran, decorating monuments, carving stones, tiles, books, in some of the Kufic scripts that are available, Maghribi of North Africa, Maghrib, Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Morocco. The people of Morocco don't call themselves Moroccans or Moors. They call themselves Maghribi.
Okay.
Right? All right. When you go square Kufic, Kufa Banai, these are black people. These are black people. Now, here's what's interesting. I say they're black people because they're going to tell you that no, the people in Iraq, they ain't black people. Those are Arabs. No, I beg to differ. Right?
Please show us. Please.
Take a look. Right?
Yes.
I'm going to bring it up on the screen. They're called Afro-Iraqis.
Okay.
These the indigenous people of Iraq before Iraq got invaded by the Persian Aryans. These are Afro-Iraqis. These are the real Iraqis. Now, if you're a Christian or Hebrew listening in, if you go to your Bible in the book of Genesis in the 10th chapter, you read about a man called Nimrod. And they say Nimrod was the son of Cush, and that Cush is Ethiopia, Al-Habashi in Arabic. And they say that Cush is Ethiopia, and Ethiopia or Cush is the son of Ham, and Ham is Africa. And that this man named Nimrod, according to Genesis, to the Hebrews and the Christians in the room, according to Genesis, this man Nimrod, Genesis 10, set up 5 kingdoms: Akkad, Akkadia, Shinar, Sumeria, Kelna, Babel, and Erech. The word Erech in the Bible, if you go to the Blue Letter Bible, Strong's Concordance, and just click Erech, it'll tell you Iraq. So Nimrod, a Cushite, Nimrod, an Ethiopian, Nimrod, an African, a child of Cush, which is Ethiopia, a child or the descendants out of Ethiopia, a child of Africa. He set up 5 kingdoms in what's present day called Mesopotamia. So there are 5 Ethiopian kingdoms in present day Mesopotamia, Tigris, Euphrates Valley. And Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had father. Well, Abraham was from that area of Ur of the Chaldees that was under the rule of these Ethiopian Cushites called Nimrod. And these are the Africans that are there today. So whose script is Kufic? They may not like what we just said, but the beauty is it's in living color.
I don't know about Sesh. Wow. Okay.
No, okay. We know. Again, we're not doing. And let me be clear. We're not doing this to denigrate people. I'm saying I want you to be the best Muslim, but you ain't gonna be no real Muslim if you ain't gonna do the scholarship.
That's true.
I want you to be the best Christian, but you ain't gonna be no real Christian following Hagee.
That's true.
Or Osteen. Or TD Jakes. You better do some research on your own.
Research.
Because they got people lying to us out here.
With that being said, because, and I think this is where sometimes a lot of people get stuck, is because you hold so closely and dear in your heart your belief on your religion, right? Your faith system and God. So when you learn the truth, which has been hidden from us for so long, and you learn the truth of who you really are, and you learn that God is not, the Most High exists, but it's not the God that you thought it was. So, and I think sometimes it becomes a stagnant point where then people don't move into the portion of the Most High that is real, which is why we're here today, right? Because then it's like, okay, then how do I perceive the Most High? How do I really move into the true concept of the Most High? And this is how people kind of remain spiritual and don't know what to do, and they whatever. Right?
No, that's a cop-out. That's a cop-out. Right? That's a cop-out. It's a cop-out, right? So I'm not going to give people that excuse. Here's the reality, right? If you go to school and you learn math wrong, and you get to high school and you find out that you learned math wrong, or you get to college and you find out you learned math wrong, you just give up on math? Or do you get a tutor?
Get a tutor.
All right. If you're in the bedroom as a man or woman and you can't perform, and you find out there's some, that your sex is just, you didn't learn sex correctly, you just give up on sex. That's man, you know what, they taught me wrong. Right. That's what we do. We give up on it, right? If you making some food and you didn't cook it correctly, you give up on cooking?
No.
Oh, so why do we give up on our spirituality? If you learned it wrong, you got a brain. Let's go learn it right.
That's right. That's true.
I'm sorry.
You don't give excuses.
No, I don't believe in giving excuses.
Okay.
If you learned it wrong, and you heard tonight that it's wrong, you're grown, you're an adult lady or an adult man that's out here in this world in the information era, in the greatest lands and countries that you can, from Europe to Americas to Africa. You don't have to accept, oh, well, God's daughter, we don't learn it all wrong. Oh, Lord, what's we going to do? This is not 1820. This is 2024. So what are you going to do? You're going to stand up, and I'm going to do the Godfather. Stand up and act like a man. You're going to stand up and act like a woman. You're going to take stock of your situation. Malcolm X didn't know everything. He knew he wasn't born knowing everything. He went to prison, but while there, he read the dictionary. He came out. He joined the Nation of Islam. He got taught, and he did something with it. That's the point I'm making. But if if you give people that cop out, everybody gonna rock that. Well,
Right. That's true.
You don't know who to believe. Ain't nobody taught you how to roll weed, but you're doing pretty good at it. Ain't nobody taught you how to pop the mushrooms, but we seem to have that. Ain't nobody. I didn't see university stripper classes, but we're doing pretty well with the stripping.
That's true.
We found it. We found the ability to strip very well to make a good amount of money off of stripping. We found the ability to do degradation.
Yes.
Ain't nobody who taught you how to get a tattoo. I didn't even know they had tattoo classes. Right? Ain't nobody taught nobody how to get a tattoo, but you found your way to the tattoo parlor.
That's true.
Huh? So let's take that same determination. When mom and dad said you shouldn't get a tattoo, how many people still went and got it when your mom and dad said don't do it? But now you say you can't leave the mosque or the church to go do some homework because of mom and dad. Oh, now you want to listen to mom and dad. Now you're obedient. So when it comes to corruption, you're disobedient. But when it comes to getting your life right, then all of a sudden, we don't know what we're going to do. Lord Jesus, help us, Father Allah. Please, if I swear before. No, that crap is done. This is the information era. You got a cell phone. You got a computer. You got a laptop. You got tablets. You got iPads. Use it.
No excuse. Okay.
There's no excuse for ignorance. We can't give people that as an out. We're not invalid. We're not suffering from Down syndrome unless you were born that way. Now, some people are born where they suffer from Down syndrome and they got to be taught. Those people, 100%, I'm going to work with you because I understand they don't know.
You have
a person who's really good at doing corrupt.
Yes.
That means your brain is working.
It's working.
Right? If you know how to run the street, how to cheat, we be the best people. We are professional. I watch cheaters, right? we got all this stuff down packed on do. When it comes to corruption, we are professionals at it. Can we take some of that same mindset
and give it to?
I ain't saying throw it away. Just take that same ability to find a way to do the corrupt thing so nobody can find it. Can we take that same determination and let's apply it to righteousness so that we can become the children of the Most High Heavenly One that we once were? But the first phase of doing that is we got to get other people out of our conversation because they don't invite us to theirs.
That's right.
When the Pope has conclave, when they meet with a papal conclave, I want to show y'all something.
Yes.
I want to show you something. Y'all ready?
Yes.
That's sure? Right.
Yes.
You know what's not abundant in this room?
Melanin?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not in the conversation. Okay, I want to show y'all something else now before y'all get mad. Y'all see the screen?
Yes.
You see, is it a big one or a little one?
No, but it's the same one. It's the
Let
same
me go
one.
back. Let me go back.
Okay.
We're going to start trouble. Let's start it right. This is called a papal conclave. You see this? They're making decisions on the lives of 1.5 to 1.8 billion Catholics, and there ain't a bunch of us in the room. All right, now, if I go to Saudi, the Saudi Council of Religion. I'm going to show you something. I want y'all to tell me what's missing. Right? The Saudi Council of Religious Affairs. You know what's missing in that room?
Melanated people.
They don't invite you to the conversation. Okay, if I take Israeli Knesset, I want you to tell me what's missing in the room. Members of the Israeli Knesset. I want you. Y'all ready? Y'all sure y'all ready? You see these faces? You see what's missing?
Yep,
You
melanated
see the
people.
Knesset? You see the Knesset here?
Yeah.
You see what's missing?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all understand? So when it comes to their spirituality, we ain't invited. So
Mm.
why we keep inviting them to our conversation?
Mm.
They don't ask us what we feel. The
That's true.
Knesset didn't ask us. The Saudi, they didn't ask us.
That's true.
What about the Iranian Council? What's missing?
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay. What about the Chinese Council of Religion? What's missing?
Melanated people.
What about the Japanese, the Shinto? What's missing?
Melanated people.
Now I want to show you something.
Mm.
This is the African Council. Y'all ready?
Mm.
I'm gonna show you what's there. It's the African Council. These are councils in Africa on religion. Who's at the party?
Mm.
What's he doing at the party?
Mm.
And what's he doing at the party? Representing other.
Mm.
Okay, let's go around.
The
Okay,
screen
let's
is not
find another.
moving.
Screen's not moving. Okay. Let's see who else is. Look at the people that's at the party.
Mm.
This is the African Council on Religious Affairs in South Africa. All right, let's go. Let's do another one. This is Islamic Council in Africa. Y'all ready? Y'all ready to see the Islamic Council in Africa?
Yes.
I hope all the people listening in ready to see.
Inviting more people.
Now, when we did the council in Saudi, we wasn't there. Well, wait a minute. When it comes to our council, why is he here? And him.
Yep.
And him.
We the only
why
people
in the middle. And
right.
why him? And him. And him. When it comes to our stuff, why are they there? But when it comes to their stuff,
we're not there.
Why do they have a say-so in our religious, spiritual, academic, social, sexual affairs? And again, the teenagers. I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about in mental development. I'm going to say that don't matter. And I say, I understand. As a teenager, thinking it doesn't matter. But to the adults in the room,
it does. It
does matter. Because we understand whoever controls the narrative controls the future of a people. If melanated people in New York, in DC, in Jersey, in Chicago, in London, in Cuba, in Santo Domingo, in Puerto Vallarta, in Mexico, if we want to change our condition, we need to start having conversations that we don't allow anybody else in that don't look like us, because we ain't interested in their opinions, because they ain't interested when it comes to ours either.
Yes.
That's not racism. That's called doing good business.
Yes.
That's because when they do it, you're gonna say it's not racism. So when we do it,
you can't call it racist. So Basesh, may I ask you this? Because I know we don't have too long left. Let's get down to it. N.A. We say Lil N.A.
That's right.
And all praises due to N.A.
That's right.
How should that be conceptualized? When, in a sense of, so
I figured we all squinted. Let's go for it. Go. Okay. In the sense of.
He's a mess with me. In the sense of, and so it's not looked at in a spooky way. You did an episode saying step away from ghost worship. So we don't want to look at it in a spooky ghost worship, irreality type of way. So how do you conceptualize Lil N.A. all praise to N.A. when you're saying N.A. is in us?
N.A. means for the greater glory of N.A. N.A. is a precept out of which God, the concept, would come. Okay. Concepts versus precepts. A concept is an idea that's been perpetuated. Let's look it up right before y'all get mad and say how we know that's what it means, right? So let's go. We're gonna look to etymology. Let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Concept. Okay. The immediate object of a thought, a draft, Hasn't been confirmed yet. It's a draft. When you do a draft paper, is that the paper you go hand in?
No,
No,
it's not
it's a
complete.
draft. It's abstract,
Mm-hmm.
a thing conceived to take in and hold. We've taken in the religious concepts and we hold on to them. We've been impregnated by them.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Cases of a refashioning of conceit. So a concept is some cases is a refashioning of,
Conceit.
and perhaps to avoid negative connotations that have begun to cling to that word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's look up a precept. A commandment or direction given as a rule of action.
Mm.
And re is the verb. A verb is an action word.
Come on.
But action must live through those things that are alive. Someone wants us to look up into the sky to something above the clouds and deny the presence of that thing that's right around us. I'm going to try this again.
Mm.
Someone wants us to look up to the sky
Mm-hmm.
in hopes of finding something that said, I breathed into you of the breath of life. I breathed into you of the breath of life, and you became Nefesh Chayim or Nefesh Hayat, a living soul. So I'm saying God breathed into me. From where? From God. Okay, try this again. God breathed into me from God. Okay. God breathed into me from God. So God took from himself, herself, itself, the self, whatever. Allah took from self and breathed into me
Mm-hmm.
from God. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a portion from God that's in me.
Right, but what about the portion that predates you, predates human beings? Like if the Most High predates the
No,
existence
wait,
of human
what,
beings.
okay, that's awesome. What predates beings? Earth,
Mm-hmm.
which is governed by what type of force? Centrifugal. Earth science, centrifugal.
Okay.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And the sun, which is governed by what force?
Centripetal.
Centripetal. So the who and the he,
Mm-hmm.
Hua in Arabic, hu he in Kemet, Yahu in Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
So the celestial forces, solar winds, sun, UV, ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays, etc. The
Mm-hmm.
sun, the visible sun, and all of the stars. I've given you the sun, the moon, and the stars that you may know the signs and the seasons and the days. For the Muslims, I created the heavens and the earth. So the heavens and the earth give us the signs and the seasons and the days. And in the heavens, there's suns, stars, moons, planets, and they all have an effect on life here or on life for those planets nearest them.
Mm-hmm.
No problem with that.
Okay.
And the source is within all of these as elements, like we said earlier. We have
Mm-hmm.
attributes of Allah: Al-Rahman, Rahim, Ali, Qudus, Salam, Mu'min, Muhammad, Aziz, Al-Jabbar,
Mm-hmm.
Mutakabbir, Khaliq. And
Right.
I'm doing that so they know I'm not just saying it, I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
In the Quran and the Bible, they have attributes. So all of these attributes, 99, and we
Mm-hmm.
just so happen to have 99 elements. And we just so happen to have these 99 elements either used to make tables and chairs and walls, or to eat as food, or to take as vitamins and minerals and nutrients. So the elements, each of those elements relate to one of the attributes of God: Allah, Adonai, Jehovah, Yahweh. Take your pick for the name. Each of these elements exist. So when we take a vitamin, if I take my pill, my vitamin, my orange, my mango, my apple, my T-bone steak, whatever it is that people are eating, are we consuming of the elements of nature? The answer is yes. Are those elements of nature found in the universe? The most abundant element in the universe is hydrogen. Are they found in the universe? Is carbon found in the sun and in the universe? Is nitrogen found in the sun and in the universe? Is iron and nickel found? Yes. So in not just our suns, but all other suns and stars and planets, these elements, they just found water on Mars. Damn, they went there, dug, and said there's water beneath the surface. So if Mars has water, what is the purpose of water? Water is there to quench thirst or to grow plants. That's where water is always there to do. For sea life, plant life, mammal life. So why is there water on Mars? We're gonna ask again, we don't know. All right, we're gonna go with we don't know. But when we speak of creator, our ancestors knew, these great wise sages of old, they knew that creator is inside of us via these attributes and elements. In the Islamic religion, they had people called Sufis, mystics, Karama, Mutasawwif, and these people who were the ones chanting Quran and chanting, they understood inside. If you're a Christian, Christ said, as I come on, he said, I'm in the Father. He said, when you see me, you see the Father. For the Father's in me and I'm in you. He said, when they asked him, where's the kingdom of heaven? He quoted what he learned in Kemet. The kingdom of heaven, according to Luke chapter 17:21, the kingdom of heaven is within. Therefore, and then the quote goes on in Africa, therefore whoever should find himself will find it. We're trying to find creator outside when creator's inside. In Islam, they say Allah is as near to you as your jugular vein. Well, my jugular vein right here. If Allah is as near to me as mine, it's inside. It's not outside the skin. So I'm going to say this again. I want to bring up the quote, right? This is my Muslim vote. Allah is as near to you as your jugular vein.
That is what's said.
Excuse my spelling. Allah is as this is, and where's this from? The Quran, Surah Al-Qaf, the 50th chapter, the 16th verse. And indeed, we have created man, and we know whatever thoughts his inner self develops, and we are closer to him than his jugular vein, your jugular vein inside your neck, Allah inside you.
But see, Basesh, that's the part, right? When we say Allah knows your thoughts, and you know, Allah's the best of planners, and close to your jugular vein, I get what you're saying, inside the body. But now, which portion of that is
which portion was breathed into you? What portion was breathed into you?
Which portion was breathed into?
Breath of life.
The breath of life, yes. And
what's that breath of life called?
Nefesh Chayim.
What's the Chayim? Chay. Ya
Hayyu.
Life.
Yes.
So the presence of the Creator in you is the life force. And Nere, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the life force. The true light.
That light of every human.
The Bible says, and in the blood there is life. And the life is the light in man. The true light, John chapter 1, that lighteth every human being that comes into the world. The book of Genesis 7. Don't eat Genesis 9 and 7. They both say it, but Genesis 7 says it first. Don't eat the blood of an animal, because in the blood there is life. Therefore, anyone who sheds the blood of another man, that's there. John chapter 1. In the beginning was the word was with God, the word was God, and with God. All things were made.
That's good. It's better.
All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In the light. And the light is the life in man. The light is the life in man. So who's the most high? Nuru samawati wal ard. The light of the heavens and the earth. But that light is where? In man. The script. What I'm quoting the scripture. It didn't say Allah out there.
So we're going with the problem is that we're trying to see the Most High Heavenly One outside of ourselves when we know that we were not the beginning of creation. So when Christians or Muslims say is untangible, you can't perceive the Most High
They
Heavenly
make
One.
a mistake when they say we're at the beginning of creation. You were created. Let us make man in our image. So whose image are you in? You're in the image of those angels who created you, and they were in the beginning with God. The
Yes.
Elohim, the Allahumma, the Malaikat, the Angelos were in the beginning with God.
Mm-hmm.
This is what all the monotheistic religions and the Taoist principles are teaching. When they talk to a Hindu, they say Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, Krishna. They were in the Brahma. The word Brahma is not just a god. Brahma is a principle. Brahma is the all-encompassing. And the Lord Brahma comes forth out of the Brahma. Brahma is the principle. That's Hindu doctrine. Or teaching. They don't even call themselves Hindus. Oh, no disrespect, man. Right? But that's their doctrine. So this idea that the Creator, we are in the image and likeness. We're in the image and likeness of the angels who said, let us make man in our image and likeness. So we look like and think like and behave like when we're in our right mind.
But that's the part we messed up on. We skip because that means you have to see you and the angels in you. And you have to see the likeness.
But you know what's funny? We're the only people that can't see it. I say that because the Europeans see it. They make sure that all their gods, including Jesus, is white.
That's
The
right.
Arabs see it. They make sure all their prophets are white with white hands. I'm sorry. They cover Muhammad's face, but he got white hands and white feet. So
Right.
he got a rainbow face. Every Chinese Buddha, Chinese, the Hindu, Krishna, Hanuman, Hindu. We're the only people who can't see it because we're the only people that have been kidnapped by everyone else.
Yes.
We don't have no problem seeing that Jesus can be the divinity in flesh. But when we say a black man, Baba Elijah Muhammad said the message to the black man, when he says the black man is God, oh, how can he say that? Wait a minute. He didn't mean God like the creator of the boundless universes. He meant that presence of that creator of the boundless universes is in you. Thereby you can have control of your environment. Why we created, but not to worship yourself before they try to twist that. We're not saying we worship ourselves. I make Sila to sustain her, but sustain her where? Within, to bring the divinity that was placed in me to a communication with the outer man. The outer man can get caught up in the world, can get caught up with women and toys and houses and cars, and that man can lose me. The divine me. It happens to everybody. You can end up doing drugs, hanging out, doing crazy if this outer man does not commune with the inner man. I say that because when the inner man communes with the outer man, we avoid problems. But when the outer man doesn't listen to the inner man, we end up with regrets going, and we all say the same thing. I should have
listened to myself.
Listen to myself. What kind of what kind of schizophrenia are we suffering from? I should have listened to myself. Question, who's the I? Me. All right, cool, me. And who's the self that you should listen to?
Right.
The self is the portion of the divinity. Oh, it's okay if I draw a little white angel on one shoulder and a little red angel on another and say the good angel and the bad angels. But if I say the man of the world, the physical woman or the physical man is communicating or failing to communicate with that divinity, because the divine in you will say, don't smoke the cigarette. But the man, outer man says, but I like cigarettes. The divine in you will say, put that fork down. You've had enough. But the man in you will say, yeah, but I'm still hungry. You're not really hungry, but that taste wants it. But if we communicate through our original scriptures, we have the original books of the Bible. We read the original Quran in the language. I am not anti-Quran. I'm anti the mistranslations, misinterpretations, and wrong chronological order of the Quran, because that leads to deceit, deception, and ignorance. I'm anti the wrong translation, wrong chronological order, wrong teaching, and wrong interpretation of the African text that is the Torah or the Tanakh. and the Zabur or the Psalm or the Tehillim and
Mhm.
the Stangil or the Injil or the Apocrypha, the book of Revelations. I'm
Mhm.
anti that. But we read in the original books of the Bible, we are people of faith, but our
Mhm.
faith is not in vain because our faith is confirmed with the presence inside to change our condition. What Marcus
Peace.
Garvey pulled off is because he understood that the power was within. What Christ pulled off, what Muhammad pulled off, was because they understood the power was within. And when they did make prayer, it was to bring the outer man or woman and the inner man or woman to a point of balance and commune. So we're
Mhm.
not schizophrenic in our thinking and saying craziness like, I should listen to myself. Well, who's I and who's myself?
Yes.
Myself is the true self. The I is the influence by the world.
Mhm.
Black people, we got to get back to that. We're the only people that don't listen to our great teachers.
Yes.
That
Okay.
was
So I know we only have a couple minutes left. If there's any questions, put it in the chat now. We may not have time, but we'll do our best. Make sure that the question is on the Most High Heavenly One. Who, how, what, where, why, when, how do you experience the Most High? Please keep the questions centered around the topic. Now, by session, when we speak about the 99 elements, attributes, um, how obviously we see them expressed through people that look like me and you who's living righteously, right? You would experience the Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, etc. So how would those elements have manifested themselves prior to our existence? Meaning you mentioned the angels, but what would that have been? Does that make
okay.
sense?
That makes a lot of sense. If we're in the image and likeness of the angels, then where were they from?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying it a different way. The angels, we have heads, yes. We have arms, yes. We have a torso, yes. We have legs, yes. Okay. So these angels were what? Physical beings. Okay. And they had to, if they were physical beings, they had to live somewhere because physical
Mm-hmm.
beings don't float around in space aimlessly,
Right.
right?
Right.
Where did they live? The
Mm-hmm.
book of Job talks about Arcturus, Plates, Mazzaroth, Orion. The Quran talks about Cyrus. There's a whole surah. It talks about Cyrus. That's a constellation.
Mm-hmm.
So these angels, before coming here, they lived elsewhere, and you call it elsewhere. You want to say heaven is above the clouds, but I got good news for everybody. Above the clouds is outer space,
Yes.
which means that what I'm saying is what you're saying without you realizing. I've been in airplanes above the clouds. You fly above the clouds. There's no angels. We've seen some birds, and you don't want them to hit the plane. But above that is outer space. So
Yes.
there are angels who came from worlds that are mentioned in the Bible and the Quran, and those angels looked like you. Better yet, we looked like those
Yeah.
angels. And so these elements were being used by them.
Or else why would the
If
worlds
not,
exist?
why would they even exist? Why would you're telling me of this in the Milky Way? There's over
Mm-hmm.
200 million stars, each with planets rotating around them. You're telling me we're the only life in the boundless
That wouldn't
universes.
make sense.
That wouldn't make sense if you made the sun and the moon and the stars that we may know the signs and the seasons and the days. Then who are those suns, moons, and stars charting the signs and the seasons and the days for? But if I say that, I sound crazy. But if you believe some angels, there's going to be a ladder on the Yom Al-Akhiri. They're going to lower the ladder from Jannah, and the prophet, they're going to come off this ladder. What's the ladder leaning on? I don't know. But they're going to lower the ladder. The Surat's going to have a donkey with a mule's wings and the teeth. It's Shrek. That's Eddie Murphy's character. That's Donkey. We all saw Donkey and Shrek. And I'm not saying to make mockery. I'm
Yes.
saying we got to. I can't talk to people. We can't talk to people. You can't talk to people who are it's like who are stuck in Spider-Man and his amazing friends. That's difficult. You can't
Mm-hmm.
talk to people who are stuck on Shrek. We gotta
Mm-hmm.
grow up.
Right.
And
Be
if we're not
realistic
gonna
in
grow up,
our thinking.
right, and if we're not gonna grow up, then just accept our lot in life and stop complaining. Let everybody
Mm-hmm.
keep slapping us around. Stop all the Black Lives Matter. And just let them do what they do because we don't believe that it's not worth it. But if we're going to be men and women about the situation, The Most High is real. You have no problem saying God is real, Allah is real above the sky. But to say that that force that breathed into you from self is in self, now you got a problem. I didn't
Yes.
say that means that you are the biggest and the baddest in the universe. It means that we are responsible, because no baby came into the world in any of these religions.
That's right. That's so true.
Not a tonism, not Naraziism, not no whatever. No baby. Every baby came in understanding mommy, daddy.
Mm,
Food, shelter, food, shelter. They think about reproduction. Every baby understood that, until someone indoctrinates us with some other philosophy that's counter to reality.
mm,
So we have more respect for someone's idea of a Jesus or Moses or Muhammad or God or the Lord or Adonai than we do for our own parents.
mm, mm,
And there's a problem there.
It's a big
How
problem.
can you get to the Creator and you don't go through your parents? And your parents are the ones who are the medium between you and Creator, because they had to get together, copulate to co-create male and female to give birth to you and me. And we can't see that. That's what Yeshua or Jesus was teaching. That's what Muhammad or Ahmad Mahmud, that's what he was teaching. That was what the Moses or Moshe or Musa, that's what they would teach. What I'm saying tonight, that's what, if you're a real Christian, that's what Christ was saying.
Yeah.
Christ was saying, you see me, you see the Father. I'm in the Father, the Father's in me. Is it not written in your law? I say you are gods and all of you are children of the Most High. I didn't say, I don't mean God like, oh, I'm going to bend metal with the, no, I mean divine. I'm responsible for my offspring. Sit around and pray all day, don't go work.
It won't work.
But if you take the divinity that's inside of you, that portion from Creator that was breathed into you, and get up and go get it, your life will change. But if you sit around praying outside of yourself to make a communion with the thing that's outside of you, while that thing is inside of you.
Breaking barriers by session. So this is the last question, because I want people to be able to digest everything that you gave us today. Which
now,
was,
y'all mad, make sure y'all cuss her out on her page.
don't cuss me out, please. Last question for tonight, and I appreciate your time. And I asked this also because I never had to, because of the way that you teach through African eyes, and you teach us the scriptures and the real word of the scriptures, going into the language, not just believing what anybody says, not believing what Google says, what any book says, but actually going into the language and seeing it through African eyes allowed me to hold on to my piece of Islam, right? Or whatever piece of Christianity or whatever. So I think that this is one place where you don't have to throw away who you are.
No.
So if you can explain, Pasesh, how does the precept, I'm not going to say concept, how does the precept of NRA, how does that unify everyone who, how can they see themselves in what we offer, what you're telling us, and how will your precept of NRA unify us? If that makes sense.
The first phase of this precept, of this term of what we call NRA, is you're actually allowed, encouraged, forced to question. Christ said, ask. That's a question. Seek. That's a quest. Knock. When you knock, you got to wait for an answer. We're supposed to be on a quest to find the Creator, the self, the divine, that quest. And in that quest, you got to ask what you want to ask, and don't let no one tell you ain't supposed to ask that. How can the Most High be the answer, and yet everybody's being told you're not allowed to question? Everybody got a bumper sticker. Jesus is the answer. Allah is the answer. Yahweh is, I'm not being funny.
That's true.
Everybody got one. But yet when you question, astaghfirullah. Oh, God, forgive you. You shouldn't be. Boy, you asking too many questions. You using the seeing eye. The scripture says we walk by faith, not by sight. I said, okay, good. Let me go get you at the top of the steps and cut those lights off. And go ahead now, walk by faith. Well, you tempting God. No, I'm putting to test what you just told me. You said you walk by faith, not by sight. Close your eyes, make a wish, and start walking down those stairs. Reality, reality. The Most High Heavenly One and Ray, the first phase of ever coming to know what the original African cosmology and theology of African Christianity, African Islam, African Judaism, that first phase is your right to question. Take everything that Sister Azandi and I discussed this evening and presume we lied. We made it up. Go out and disprove it. It's going to be on YouTube. Take it apart. Find the mistake. And I don't mean off your feelings, off your opinions. I mean date, time, researchable information. And in the process of trying to disprove it, you might just find your way to the Most High Heaven. And Ray, the sustainer, who we can call Allahu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, not Allah Ta'ala. Do your research about the origin of Allah Ta'ala. I'll leave that to each person. Called Yahuwah, not Yahweh. Do your research about the origin of the word Yahweh from the Greeks, right? Where it comes from. If you do that research, we will find out where our true religions, our true spiritual practices as true Christians and Hebrews and Muslims has been hijacked by the seed of the serpent. And until we come to grips with that, we're letting the serpent's children, Halal, Iblis, Shaitan, the devil, the dragon, we're letting the serpent's children guide our spirituality. I'll leave it there.
Thank you so much for your time, Basesh, and we look forward to seeing you on a future episode. Visit, if you can give everyone the website, and as well as any social media and any events that's coming up, what would you like to share with everyone?
I tell people they can go to www.journeyhomegroup.com. You can go on YouTube, The Vantage Point, or The Righteous Jewels on YouTube. You can also go to YouTube to QTV, Cryptic Television. You can also go on the social media platforms. You can go to Rev AJ Varma is on the screen on Instagram, or HQC Holy Cryptic Church _International. That's on Facebook, or Holy Cryptic HQC International. You can also go to ajvarma.com. Thank you for bringing that up, and you'll find that there. These are all the different ways. I appreciate that's coming up. These are all the different ways that contact us. They can be a part, and they can get some questions answered, right? We have fellowships I teach pretty much every day, but on Wednesdays and Sundays. Wednesdays is from 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 11 p.m. GMT. Sundays it's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. GMT. You can go online and you can bring your questions. You can bring your imam, bring your imam, bring your rabbi, bring your pastor. I invite everybody to come on. I don't try to embarrass nobody, but when they come, just tell them, have their quotes ready, have their language ready. I want to hear about feelings. I want to hear about opinions. Opinions are like noses. Everybody got one, and they're all different. So don't bring me no opinion. Don't bring me no feelings. Don't tell me how good your pastor, your rabbi, your brother Mason, they really smart. They just like me. No. Tell them come. We take all comers, right? I'm in the ring. I'm walking around the ring. I ain't trying to debate you, but I will have a conversation with you. So tell your imam, tell your rabbi, tell them come. No, they come with this right. I don't care. As long as they come. But come with your scripture. Come with your facts. Don't give me no feelings. Don't try to out yell. We ain't going to yell at each other. I'll let you talk. But I'm going to take apart everything you say. I'm going to dissect it in real time and give it back to you. Because my people require the truth. But what you will find is when you invite them, they're not going to come. Because after they listen to these last 2 hours, they know better. They know better. But for the food, they're more than welcome. I invite any person.
Thank you.
I want to debate you, but I'm going to debate with you in a forum like this. I don't need no cheerleaders in the background yelling and making cymbal sounds. Come with your application that I'm going forth to pick a fight to go after the fake gods and the false Christ. So
Yes.
what you stand on, if you stand on your truth,
Mm-hmm.
bring it.
Yes.
Bring
Thank
your
you.
truth. Don't get pinned in the corner and say, oh, wait, I'm gonna go research. No. When you come,
Come
you should have already done your research.
mm.
We teach here. Our student priestesses, our student teachers, our student priests, they study, they read, they know, because they have a teacher that says you will study here.
Yes.
Fight anybody who wants to learn, come sup with us. Who wants
Yes.
to share, come sup with us. Who wants to debate, invite me. And then we'll find out if we're truly peers. Because
Yes.
again, in the words of the great Baba Henrik Clark, I debate only with my peers. All
Yes.
of this I teach. So, thank you,
Thank
Master.
you so much, Master. Again, thank you all for joining the Vantage Point for yet another week. Very grateful and thankful for the support and the presence of each and every one of you. We ask that you share, like, subscribe, comment, and don't comment again with the feelings, but let's comment with intellect. And this is why I chose to have Basesh join us today. So I like to say, my teacher is your favorite teacher's teacher. And he's gonna come with actual reality that you can see for yourself. So again, I thank Basesh for joining us, as I do thank you all, and we look forward to you joining us next week. Look for the advertisements, and I pray you all have a great weekend. Be blessed, be safe. Peace.